You like vampires? You like video games? You like thematic workout routines? Then stick around and watch the video and see how I blended them all together. And if you're just interested in seeing how the workout is, go to this timestamp. Otherwise, watch me as I play through most of the Castle-Vania games, and then what happens next? Hey boss, do you think it's a good idea doing a video about, you know what, because of the you-know-who? I'm not scared of those guys. What are they gonna do? Catch me with my pants down? Figure speech. So I thought for this video I'd list a couple of interesting facts about vampires while I was at it. For example, the Britannica.com page for vampires lists them as a creature that is often fanged that preys on humans, generally by consuming their blood. Vampires are featured in folklore and fiction of various cultures for hundreds of years and predominantly in Europe. The most common archetype of that being the Eastern European Dracula-type vampire. But there are other examples of that, such as the Jiangxi hopping vampire from China, ancient Greek Impuzai, the ancient Roman Strix, were viewed as large birds that fed on the flesh and blood of humans and didn't generally possess the characteristics of the classic vampire that we know in modern day. There's also such things as the Impuzai that I mentioned earlier, which were seen as golden-bodied women who had one foot that was a goat's hoof, as well as sometimes wings. With all these different variations from culture to culture for the vampires, there are obviously different weaknesses for each of them as well. But some of the more common notions, such as exposure to sunlight, were brought about around the time that the movie Nosferatu, published in 1922, came out, which was one of the first movies to depict a vampire's weakness to sunlight. Jumping from fictional examples to a more real-world idea, one of the first examples of a vampire can be arguably given to the man Yuri Grando, who is referred to as a strigon, a local word for something like a vampire, in the modern-day Croatia, which at the time was the region of Istria, in a small town. He died in 1656, but according to legend, he rose from his grave and terrorized that village. Legend goes that after Yuri died, he would continue to rise from the grave every night to terrorize the village, going door to door and knocking. And the local priest noticed that whichever house that Yuri seemed to have come to, a person in that home would die days later. While quite a lot of vampire media has been made over the years, some that you may be familiar with would be stuff like The Originals, True Blood, Vampire Diaries, What We Do in the Shadows, Being Human, and stuff like The Strain, a personal favorite of mine. Alright, so this is where the real fun begins. As you can see, I've given a good bit of time into recording how the workout went and showing the more or less proper way of doing these exercises, which if you'd like to do them yourself, I'll provide a link to the PDF. It's a very simple exercise regimen, and if you are unsure, you can always Google these exercises, which is why I provided the actual names. I had to play around with the weight and with a lot of things such as my stance, and as you can soon tell, I've definitely had to do that since I lost my footing a couple of times. But that's fine. You have to get a feel for what is the proper posture. If you're ever unsure, you can always ask someone in the gym to spot you or find a tutorial. I hope you really do appreciate these camera angles. A couple of them I had to do because the cameraman couldn't stop making commentary the entire time. So if you see me smiling in the video, I'm not smiling through the pain, I'm smiling due to whatever he had to say. And for some of the exercises, such as the Spider-Man push-ups right here, if they feel a little awkward, just take your time, go through the motion very slowly, and pay attention to how it feels. That mind-muscle connection is more than important, especially with training in something you're not familiar with. I don't have much more to say other than keep doing whatever you're doing, and if you enjoyed this, then I will put out a couple more of these, and hopefully they'll be better than the last time. This was my first kind of shot at this, and I won't say that I'm particularly unhappy, but I know there are leaps and bounds in terms of quality that can be made, but I do hope you enjoy this a little bit, and yeah, keep going.